Well, Brendan's win back in 1974 was followed by Jack Buckner, of course, winning in 1986 in Stuttgart. Great race from Jack on that particular occasion. 13 minutes and 10 seconds, which is just a little slower than Mo Farah ran a couple of weeks ago. 13.9, making him the second fastest British athlete ever at this distance, behind Dave Moorcroft. Danger from Ireland, Alistair Cragg, the highest ranked athlete. So Nick McCormack just going through the picture there, but the Spaniards will also be tough to beat. Gert-Jan Liefers from Netherlands, Zuber of France, he's a good athlete as well. But as Brendan was saying, you look through this field and there's a big danger here. The man who won a medal in the 1500 meters, Higuero, if it's slow, he'll be a danger. But from what I'm told, his teammate there, Espana, is keen to make this a fast race. I don't think perhaps like our relay boys, the Spanish team not totally speaking from the same book, and Espana and Higuero will want different tactics. Because Higuero is a big danger. Mo can sprint, but Higuero is very, very fast if it's slow. Oops.
Some of these 5,000 metre runners, they can't even balance on the start line, Steve, can they?
They're not used to be kept waiting that long by the starter, and almost had a false start there, but they're on their way and they're running. And I was tipped off last night that there may be a little plan between Villalobos and Espana. Villalobos is the weaker of the three Spaniards. He's the man who's gone to the front early, and that looks like back as well, pushing things on. Thought we might the Norwegian in the 10,000 meters, might have been his better event. He's come straight into this 5,000 and forcing the pace early. Now this will not suit Higuero, that's for sure. Mo Farah with a 13.9 clocking, with that fitness inside him, has got to be awake, got to be ready. He wasn't expecting a fast race, he's got to be prepared to go with one. There he is, Higuero the athlete just in front of him. A little gap developing already, but that's early stages, and you can just ease your way into this race, and they will settle down after that little bit of speed injected by back in the first lap there. 64 seconds. Don't see that too often, Brendan, in some of these races. It's good to see them up and running.
Well, 64 seconds for the opening lap. It means that they're going to make this a true run distance race. I'm not sure Marius Bakken is strong enough to keep this going or go much faster, but I think this suits Mohamed Farah and also Nick McCormack, who didn't run very well in the heats. I think he had a hard time there in the heats, but his coach Lindsay Dunn will be sitting back at home, sitting there very nervously watching this one. And Nick McCormack just has to pick his way through the field and just finish as high as he possibly can. Behind him, in the Irish vest, Alistair Cragg, a lot of Irish hopes on his shoulders. He's a very good athlete. He's the fastest in Europe this year, over 5,000 metres, and he's getting the pace laid down for him by Marius Bakken. And that is to the advantage of the distance runners, because there's two camps here. There's the 1,500 metre specialists who are moving up to the 5,000 metres, and then there's the distance runners who are in here as of right, because this is their true distance.
Two minutes 8.69. It's a fairly swift opening to this 5,000. They've got the bell strung out with Bakken leading them from Bots, and then Akas from Turkey in the dark strip in third place there. Then the second of the Spaniards is Espana. A little bit further back, Higuero is just ahead of Mo Farah. Nick McCormack a little further down the field. So we're heading for a good, strong 5,000 metre race here, with leading through the first kilometre. Back at the 5,000 metres, it's just slowing down a little bit. Mo Farah having a little bit of a push, and he's keen to get to the front, and he might not want it to slow too much. Let's find out Paula's thoughts on these first three laps.
I was thinking that the race was really panning out against Higuero there. He really doesn't want the race to go too fast, and definitely I think the Spanish won't be working as a team in this one. But Mo, I think, comes into it with a good choice, because he can finish fast and he can go with the stronger pace, and he's also very much boosted by his recent 13.09, which has really boosted his confidence this year. So hopefully he can just keep his head and run a cool race here and finish strongly.
Well, the early couple of laps 64 seconds, then suddenly a 68-second lap. So all the ideas about making this a race for the true distance runners suddenly begin to evaporate. And I've noticed Alistair Cragg moving towards the front. He wouldn't be happy with that 68-second lap. He'd be wanting to do something about this pace. Mo Farah would be very happy if somebody else takes over. Alistair Cragg on one side, and the Espana, the Spanish athlete, on the inside. Nick McCormack on the wide outside, and Higuero coming there. And I'll tell you what, I bet he'll slow down at the front. There's no reason for him to do any other than that.
70 lap, and this has become perhaps more familiar territory. Some of these championship 5,000 metre races can end up being a bit of a dawdle. Unusual to have those first two fast laps, but rest assured it won't stay like this for too long. Too many people in that who know the danger of the man in 2:45, and they're just letting him drift to the front and keep it slow. And somebody's got to really take a hold of it. Alistair Cragg's got a fast time, the Irishman. He's looking around at Nick McCormack saying, do you fancy it? I don't think Nick would necessarily want to do that either. Mo Farah tucked in behind the front three with 8 laps to go. This has really got to start moving at some point.
Well, when the athletes get packed together, often get incidents. Here they are in the home straight. You see them all bunched together. And you bet, oh, Nick McCormack nearly went over, nearly caused them to go over behind. There's no point in looking around and arguing. You've got to get on with the race. But I tell you what, Higuero was clever there, and I'm pleased that the Frenchman's taken over. I'm pleased that Zub has come through quickly there. Higuero, who's much more favoured, he was third in the 1500 metres. He's in second place here. He wants to reduce this race to a really slow one. That was a 73-second lap, and he's really to get away with it. I mean, it's much more into his domain than the others, and then he slows down. Higuero comes back towards the front. I'll be delighted. If anybody's got a psychological advantage at the moment, it's got to be the Spaniard Higuero, because they're doing what he wanted to do. Now, Mohamed Farah in the front, he's smiling all over his face. Alistair Cragg goes front, and they come down to the lap scorer. There's 7 laps to go. If they want to make it into a distance race, they've got to start making a move now. But when you get a feel like this between them, they're very inexperienced at competitive races, because when they run on the circuit, they get the Ethiopians and the Kenyans doing the work for them. So when they come here, some of them are just learning. They're not in this, they haven't the experience of doing this before. They're not going to be used to it, and you can see that there's nobody in here who's so determined to try and win it themselves that they're going to try and dominate the race. So you're getting a confused race, really.
I'd like to see Mo Farah really not look around as much as he does, and just, find where he wants to be. There he goes again, or maybe just checking before he throws it away. It's almost as like he's kind of saying, I'm enjoying this, and this is nice, but this is a championship finalist. Another 73-second lap there. The last 3 laps have been 75, 73 and 73. So despite the fact we've had various leaders, nobody's really trying to take this race on. I really am surprised that the other Spaniards, Espana, who's right on the inside, just tucked in the pack there, hasn't done something. And there's got to be somebody sitting there who has a race plan which is not about weight kicking, because there are too many of them who will get taken apart by Higuero on the last lap. Alistair Cragg's got good pace. He's won European title indoors. There goes backing again. He's had enough. He's thinking, right, I had to go early on. I tried to get you all running. You didn't fancy it. Now let's get on with it. And finally, somebody at least picks it up. And he won't be the man who wins this race back in, but let's hope that at least he's got them running and others pick up the gauntlet that he's thrown down.
It's very rarely that the man who makes the first move in a slow run race like this one actually wins it. I'm not sure Marius Bakken's quick enough fit enough, to win this one from a long way out. He is fast. He's run a very good 5,000 metres in his time. There's Mo Farah just being questioned and tested. But really, there is no athlete in this field who's any better than Mo Farah on his recent form. Nick McCormack following him, but they've not been able to influence the race at all. They've just been going along for the ride. Now, it's now about concentration. It's now 5 laps to go when they see the lap scorer. It's now into the area where they do training runs and they actually can work it over this distance. And if Bakken was fit, he would be able to run them from all the way now. But interestingly enough, the changes are taking place, but only small little gaps are appearing.
And that's the first time Espana has made a concerted effort to move towards the front. In the red vest of Spain, he's just slotted in behind Bakken, and if it slows again, he might feel as though the time is right to push on. Mo Farah tucks his head down and does that again. Now, is this a big push by Mo Farah? I think I would have liked to have seen somebody else do this first. I think if he just waited and maybe let somebody else make that first move. Yes, he wants the pace to get moving, but I would prefer to have seen somebody else, perhaps Espana, if he'd waited a little bit. That was a 64-second lap there. Now Nick McCormack comes to the front as well. It's slowing again.
Well, the two Britons in good position. Nick McCormack, concentration on his face. Mo Farah just going along for the ride. When he rushed to the front there, I was pleased he didn't try and go all the way, because I think that would have been a far too... He's never done it like that before. I think that would have been far too far out for him to make and try and win this race. But the two Britons are in a good position. The race is now going to be a 4-lap race, because the athletes are not at all physically tested by this point in the race, and we're going to see something that we haven't seen before. We're going to see a mile race at the end of a 5,000 metres, and it'll be interesting to note the time of the last 4 laps.
I think there's always the likely scenario. The last 4 laps, you'll get a big effort from somebody, probably not enough to break up the whole field. There should be perhaps a group goes away, and then it'll all come down to a pretty fast burn up. But the longer this happens, the more give the sprinters the chance, the more there is the opportunity for one of the non-fancied runners to have a chance. 67.65 for that lap. And here goes Alistair Cragg. Here's the first big effort. This is a concerted push by Alistair Cragg, and this will break. And let's hope that Mo Farah, maybe Nick McCormack, as Mo Farah has been slow to react there, he's really got to get on the back of these two, because Espana is a good strong runner, the Spanish athlete who's following Cragg.
Alistair Cragg there suddenly limped badly. He accelerated and stretched there, and suddenly he jumped up. His ankle was definitely something wrong with him there in the home straight. Back at that, you'll see he had a real problem. Alistair Cragg looks as though he's making a long strike for home, but I'm sure he's got a problem with his leg. He's off the track, and he wasn't able to keep going. And showed up in the home straight, and suddenly the hopes of Ireland are dashed completely. He's injured. He's on the inside of the track. He's on the race up, and Mo Farah's moved to a good position. Now remember, Mo Farah is strong over 5,000 metres, but also he's pretty quick over the last lap as they come through 1,000 metres to go, and Mo Farah has put himself in contention. That was a 59-second lap, and Mo Farah has gone very, very quickly there. I just wish he'd been a little bit more conservative at that point.
Mo Farah just should really settle behind Espana there. Espana is moving it along quite nicely. Maybe Mo feels so good that he wants to keep this pace going. He's seen that the field's broken up. Higuero is working hard to try and get back. Liefers of the Netherlands is there. Also the Turkish athlete Akas, and Mo Farah with 2 laps to go in the lead, but there are too many people there at the moment. Higuero is still within striking distance at the back of that leading group. Mo Farah of Great Britain leading. Liefers, Akas, I think that's Zuber in there as well. Mo Farah has just got to wait for the right moment to strike. He's at the front, there may be an attack comes from him. Higuero is looking ominous though, and he wants to move and get a bit closer. There he goes, the Spanish athlete moving into 5th place. He is still the big danger. 600 metres to go.
Well, Mo Farah has never been in a position like this before in a championship race in his life, and I hope he's got the composure. He is a physically talented athlete, but he's never been under these pressure situations before. He's stretching, he's running hard, but he's really quick over the last lap. You know, we see British athletes in this position, and we've seen it many times before. There are 3 others with him, but don't underestimate Mo Farah's finish. He can be quick, he can be speedy, he's strong enough. We've seen his times do that. He's stretching these athletes. He's doing a very good job. He's got 3 of them for company, and I just hope in the back he gathers himself again. Little bits of gaps are beginning to open. He is putting them under pressure, but they're beginning to keep the Turkish athlete a big surprise. Now Mo's got to just stay with him, try and hold him off, and he's doing that.
These two know each other from battles on the country. Back to junior days, the two of them. Espana is still there. Higuero's got no chance now. Come on, Mo Farah. A bit of speed and a bit of strength put together here. Another bit. He has a little look up. Don't look behind. Head down and kick for the line. Mo Farah is certainly going to win a medal. What colour will it be for Great Britain? We haven't won an individual gold medal on the track. He's still fighting. It's still a chance there for Mo Farah. One more dig. One more stretch. It's going to be Espana. Espana takes the gold medal. Mo Farah just run out of it, takes the silver, and Higuero with a sparkling finish takes the bronze. So close, oh so close for Mo Farah. He deserved that. He really did deserve to get the gold medal. He couldn't have done any more really in the end. Nick McCormack just crossing the line. I thought he had it. I really thought he had it. I'm sure he thought he had it. He can't believe that it was, not that it was a Spaniard, that I think Espana, he wouldn't have expected to have been outkicked perhaps by him, although Espana himself has won European Cup events off slow races, and well, he may well applaud himself. It was a huge effort from Mo Farah, almost the first British athlete to win an individual gold medal at these European Championships. Times aren't important at all. It was an exceptional run and very close. Silver medal for him. And if we look a little bit further down the list, Nick McCormack coming in 12th place, and of course Alistair Cragg having to pull out there unfortunately with injury. Excellent 5,000 metres.